Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roysum. I am super excited to return to my very popular series on great questions in web handling. In this clip, we explore why many, including myself, am puzzled about the observation that bagginess could be worse at the bottom of the roll than at the top. As we will see, this is not expected given the often purported mechanics of differential stretching and yielding over the thick spot. I know your time is precious, so let's get started. I will begin by saying that, honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen, or at least don't recall, any literature on that particular aspect of bagginess. So, the best I can do here is to offer an explanation of why the question might come up. Then I will explore why this might happen. I, and perhaps others, have long taught that the wound roll diameter profile tends to resemble the incoming web thickness profile, as shown here. This much is absolutely for sure true. The web then gets differentially stretched and yielded so that the outcome is a baggy lane where the web is slightly thicker than its neighbors. In short, the incoming web is flat but of variable thickness. However, when unwound, is longer and thinned at the areas of greatest local thickness. So, let us begin with a super simplified model of why it might be expected that bagginess might be worse at the outer diameters instead of the core. The inputs will be very ordinary. A 1 mil, 1/1000th of an inch thick product with the largest 10% thickness variation on a 4-inch OD core. For those inputs, and assuming a simple linear model, the first wrap will only have the tiniest differential strain, simply because the differential diameter is tiny. By time of the 1,000th wrap, the strains are noticeable, and the asymptote at infinity is the value of the incoming variation. Yes, I know this is in US units. Yes, I know this is just one set of 3 inputs. Your product may well be different. Yes, as a long-time wound roll model, I am well aware that this process is far from linear. Still, despite all those legitimate objections, any analysis with any inputs is not going to change the relationship that the outside of the roll is differentially stretched far more than the layers near the core. Of course, we've greatly simplified, or perhaps oversimplified, our differential diameter stack-up model. Perhaps if we looked at combined stresses and strains, we might get some other avenue to consider. For every material ever wound on any winder ever built with any winder TNC settings, the MD stress is greatest at the outside, again supporting our original concerns. However, if we now consider ZD pressures, interlayer pressures, we have a different conclusion. For every material ever wound on any winder ever built with any winder TNT settings, the pressure is greatest at the core, not at the outside. Perhaps the crushing pressures near the core makes MD yielding easier. Yet, if we look closer at the actual numbers, the sizes of the stresses at the outside are far greater than the bottom of the roll. Yes, this is just one set of inputs for a material with a high anisotropy ratio, such as paper. Perhaps very rubbery materials might have more noticeable pressures at the core compared to the winding touches, and maybe that might be enough. So I admit I am still puzzled. I am still puzzled despite writing more on bagginess than any other author, perhaps as much as all other authors combined. That includes some 24 videos on how to troubleshoot and treat bagginess on this all-web handling channel of YouTube listed below. I am still puzzled despite all of that. I have no problem with this. A good problem solver does not insist on finding answers for every question. Sometimes it is good enough to merely know that something happens. That is not by any means an encouragement to ignorance. We strive to learn from both the literature and observations. When they are not in total agreement, we go with the observations, but with great humility, because there's clearly a gap in the knowledge of how the world works. That knowledge gap might mean the next time you predict similar behavior, it might not follow. Thank you so very much for allowing me to share my thoughts on great questions in web handling. If you have an idea of what might be going on with this question of core versus outside bagginess, let me know in the comment section below. If you have a topic you would like to hear about, also let me know in the comment section below. If you found anything interesting or useful here, please like and share and subscribe. Stay tuned for next week's show, where we will show why you can misalign guides and spreaders way more than most idler rollers. See you next time.